Hello again, everyone. Chris Matthew with Forbidden Knowledge News. Today, I'm happy to welcome Ruth Ann Friend. She is the author of 3 books and a contributor on a 4th. She is a Reiki master practitioner, teacher for nearly 30 years, a clairvoyant reader, and practices hypnosis. She and her son David led a family Earth life among loved ones and a secret life with extraterrestrials. The being's agenda was to arrange their own messages to speak their words of truth to humanity. In her last book, Aliens Within Our Own Selves. Ruth Ann, welcome. How are you doing today?
Oh, thank you. I'm doing great. Look forward to being on your show today.
Yes, I look forward to having you, and I look forward to meeting you in Laughlin. You have a fascinating presentation and a lifetime of experiences. And I love having people like yourself on my show to discuss their experiences to help not only me understand, to help my audience understand, and everyone who hears this to get a better understanding of the phenomenon. And I believe that also not only is the paranormal and UFO world connected. But a lot of these strange phenomenon that we can't explain may be also connected to this as well. Let's start out today with a little bit about what you're going to be presenting in Laughlin. What is the title of your presentation?
My presentation is A Lifelong Journey with Extraterrestrials.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about it. Give us a little teaser about what you're going to be talking about.
Okay, what I'm involved in since I was very small is seeing and hearing into the spirit and paranormal worlds. And also, I found out that I was going to meet my extraterrestrial high council. And this is where everything took off later in my life. And it was a secret life because I had 4 children and I didn't want them ridiculed and growing up that way. So when my son was born, I saw he was just like me. And we worked together on many, many things for many years until he passed away.
What was how old were you with one of these earliest experiences that you can remember?
I was probably about 4, maybe 5. And I remember I would go, I called it into the sky with these beings that I didn't really know what they were. I really never got a really good look at them, but oh, I loved going with them. I loved it. And I remember when I was returned, it was just like a fast return. It just all of a sudden, I'm back in my bed. Although I didn't understand anything, I never told anybody about it. I remember all those years I didn't say anything about it. It was a common thing with me, but I thought maybe they had taken part of my memory away. I don't know because later on, when I was a teenager, I died in a car wreck, and I remember exactly everything that happened in the other dimension. And I was sent back because the voice told me that I had 4 little souls waiting in the wings to be born one day. So it went on from there.
That is very interesting. Now, would you say that most of your encounters with ETs, extraterrestrials, were positive, or did you have any negative encounters as well?
And I've never had a negative encounter. They are the Christ like beings. Everything is one, everything was created at the same time. Um, they're my teachers, my loved ones, my other families. So I felt very excited and honored to have not only a loving earth family, but I had a whole nother life with other beings.
Now, you mentioned the High Council earlier. Could you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Yes, it's the masters, and I always have called it the High Council. There were 4 that always came or that I went to with the other extraterrestrials when we were in school. They said this is merely Earth school. All of us here. This is a school, and hopefully we all learn something from this school. But the High Council, I have one particular photograph I'm bringing when they came here, and it has a certain message to it that I'll explain also. But this was just my life. And my son, the same way. I mean, he went with them all the time too. So it was really good because we were the only two that could share all this together because we could not talk about this part of life.
Now,
But
you also had different types of paranormal experiences. What kind
mm,
of experiences were those? Were you seeing apparitions or spirits?
oh, yes, I still do all the time to this day. I don't think that'll ever leave me. In fact, sometimes at funerals, I see the deceased one and they're already giving me information, wanting me to tell their loved ones, like, I'm all right, I'm okay. So, the things like that, but of course, I cannot do that. But somehow, some way, that door might open a year later or 2 years later, and I'll have just the right opportunity to give them that message. So there's a lot working in between all of this, but I've always been able to, like in my first book, there were 7 spirits in this house, and we became acquainted with them. Uh, and it wasn't always an easy life for the rest of my family, but I began to know them very well, and they stayed here almost 40 years. And then one day they told me they had to go back because their work was over. So a lot of whatever their work was in my dimension, I don't know, but I would see them often. I would hear them. They would do certain things in the house. We had one I called the cleaning lady. Her name was Caroline. And I would do laundry, and I would go back up to fold it, and my laundry would be folded. And this is the truth. Wash
Wow.
clothes, towels. She was really, but see, she was still living. Our dimensions were overlapped somehow because they were all still living here doing the same things. I could smell food. We would wake up 2 and 3 in the morning and smell the best food cooking, all kinds of odors coming up the stairs, run downstairs, and of course it was just a dark, empty kitchen. But you could hear water pails where they brought in water in the old wooden buckets and the wooden floors. Well, we didn't have the wooden floors. We had the kitchen carpet then and stuff. And we sure didn't have any wooden pails. But I mean, I just marveled at the things that they were still doing and could do, which told me their intelligence never leaves. Their intelligence, how could it? They were still reliving their life. And I know at times when I was sick, there was a little girl here that we were very fond of who died very young in the house. And I would look over when I'd be laid down, and there'd be a little flower there beside me. And it was funny because it always came out of one of the artificial flowers in the living room. But she would bring a flower. So we had all kinds of really exciting and rare, and they could tell when you're sad. We just had all kinds of experiences.
Now,
So
do
I
you
wrote
find
them.
that throughout your, I guess, working with people through hypnotherapy and different types of modalities, that most people have experiences with extraterrestrials or also having these paranormal experiences, that it's usually connected in some way?
Yes, it's all connected. I rarely spoke to anyone about any of this. Only when I came out to tell of our lives was in the first book, and the children were all older and some were gone. So that's when they told me. Now they named each book. I have never put a title on any of my books, and that was the Extraterrestrials. And that book was the third one, and that's when they wanted our life, their messages, their all kinds of wonderful things that people wonder about. I put in the book their exact words. I would not change one word, and a lot of it they did write. And I'm going to bring a few of those messages I plan in that they wrote. Edgar Casey was a main teacher to us. He said he had been with us always, and he always would be. And he taught my son and I the trance states. And we spent time on that through part of 1 year. And he said we had to do it then because something about the timing of it had to be done then or it would be too late. So I don't know what all that meant, but so
Now,
we did.
Edgar Casey, I guess you spoke with his spirit.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I've got his. I'm going to bring a few of the things that he did here and a couple of his messages. We've always been together. I went to Kentucky twice, the town he was from, and I went to the old home. It was falling down, of course, but I could feel him there then. And when I came home a couple nights later, I had a vision where I was in that house and I found something that they had left behind, and it was just a real sweet story, when I was there. So it was confirmed.
Wow,
The
that
vision.
is really cool. Well,
Yeah.
Ruth, I can't wait to hear more about all these stories and hear your presentation at the conference and meet you there. That's going to be great. Now, for people who would like to find out more about your books and some of the work that you've done between now and then, what's the best way that they'd be able to do so?
Well, they could all the books are on Amazon Books. And one is Under the Rainbow Crossing. That's the first one about the spirit and paranormal world. The second one was after my son went back, The Story of David. And it tells of his many miracles. It tells of our work together in that book, that the doctors could not understand him. And I knew why they couldn't. Many times when the extraterrestrials would heal him on the ship, I would watch them, and at times they exchanged our blood. There were different things that I put in the book that happened. So that book has a lot of information in it also. And then the third book, Aliens Within Our Own Selves, clearly, to me, would let anyone know how we are all combined as one. It's one thing. And so it has their own messages. It has some messages that I feel will help the future. And it's a very important book. I'm honored that they wanted me to do this. But they said your book will speak our truth. So
That's
I did.
amazing. Yeah, that's really great. Well, Ruth, thank you so much for joining us today. I look forward to meeting you at the conference, hearing your presentation, getting to talk to you more then, and of course, meeting all of you. So we'll see you all in Laughlin. This year's Laughlin UFO Mega Conference is going to feature over 36 scientists, researchers, and contactees. They're going to be presenting incredible disclosures over 7 days. You can now register for the full week, for half a week, or even by the day or session. And not only is there going to be over 36 amazing presentations, you're going to get a skywatch, meet and greets, and exclusive film screenings. And there's always going to be only one presentation at a time, so you don't have to miss anything. And did I mention that there's no longer any mask mandates in Nevada? So you can now enjoy this amazing 7-day conference mask-free. Just go to their website, LaughlinUFOMegaConference.com, and register now. Last year's conference was absolutely amazing. This year's is going to be even better. So join us for an incredible 7 days of education and disclosure at the Laughlin UFO Mega Conference.